So yes, thank y'all for being here for REI Live. I'm excited to share with y'all because I get joy out of this. I love to see people take some of the nuggets and some of the things that we've done in the past and grow their business or start a business even. So I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited to get through all this. Although when I did that YouTube video, I totally took away my slides. Is that where we are? All right, cool. All right, so Deal Finders Club. So this is just something, it's just near and dear to my heart. It's finding the deal. And I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of people who in here has seen someone on YouTube talking about real estate investing. You're all lying if your hands are down. Everybody, you're all seeing it everywhere. There's so much stuff out there about investing in real estate because it's an awesome way to create freedom from having to go to work every day or not doing the things that you want to do. So there's so many different ways to invest in real estate, but it's so much out there, it could just be noise, right? Who feels like you're getting bombarded with stuff and you just don't know where to go? Anybody? I feel you, right? I mean, I'm not immune to that. Ask Michelle, she'll tell you. Why are we thinking about going and doing something new? We haven't even finished this thing yet. Right, babe? So it's real, right? It's real. There's a lot of different things coming at you. But the very basic premise is finding a deal. Finding a deal. What is a deal and finding a deal? If you don't get that, then learning how to BRRRR and how to flip and how to Airbnb and DNBE and whatever else is out there, it doesn't matter because you can't find a deal. And so what you'll do is you'll sit there at your computer thinking, oh man, this would be really cool if I could BRRRR this property. Or this property would be really awesome if I could syndicate it and get 100 investors. Right? There's a lot out there, but you will get nowhere if you don't know what a deal is and how to find it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. A little bit about kind of where we started. Some of y'all know our background, where Michelle and I started, but just kind of lay the framework here is back in 2007, I graduated college after, I don't know, 5.5 years, something like that. It was an advanced degree. It was very difficult. Hospitality, you know, it's a lot of things in there. But I graduated in 2007. You could buy a house with a cat's signature on it, basically. It didn't matter. So I got a house, and I got it with no money down, and we actually got money back at closing. When I signed the paperwork, they handed me a check for like $350, which was pretty awesome. And so that was a deal, right? I mean, I got money back, but turns out that was probably one of the worst buys we've made as far as getting a really good deal. Because back in 2007, that house was probably worth 80% of what I paid for it. But I didn't know any better. It was a property. It was for sale. I called the listing agent thinking, oh, he would be my friend and help me. No. All he did was get an extra 3% and make me pay list price, right? So I didn't know how to find a deal back then. But we were failing forward. I'll just tell you that. Michelle and I were failing forward. I didn't know her in 2007. We met the year after. But then a few years later, we found the house across the street from that one. We ended up buying that. That was actually a deal. We sent him a letter. And he called me. He's like, yeah, I'll sell it to you. So that was actually a deal. The next house I think we lived in, I think that was the one in Camden. Not really a deal. Actually, we couldn't sell it when we wanted to sell it. We had to rent it out for a few years, but we lived in it, right? So not really a deal. And so we kind of went through this. We were just failing forward. But then in 2016, Michelle and I had 2 kids and 1 on the way, so 2.5. And we realized that real estate could be our future. That could be our financial freedom. We could actually make money from these rental houses so that we didn't have to go to work for someone else. So that ultimately the goal was that Michelle would be able to leave when Reynolds went to school, when he went to public school. So when we got rid of that kindergarten bill, she would be able to be at home and pick him up and all that. That was going to be the plan. Turns out that I quit my job. I drew the short straw or the long straw, I guess. And so I ended up quitting. because we were able to get financial freedom from 2016 to 2018, the end of 2018, through rental properties, through finding deals. And I will tell you, it's not easy. I felt like at the time it was really hard, but now I'm like, man, it was much easier then than it is today. Today, you really need to work on it. If I look back now, I'm like, they were everywhere. 2016, I wish I had more money. I wish I had some really good lenders and I knew what I was doing. But I didn't. And so now I'm like, the deals are harder to find now than they were then. So you actually have to know what you're doing and make deal finding a process and a focus. You're not going to stumble on them. You might. You're not going to stumble on more than one, okay? You might accidentally trip into one deal, but you're not going to stumble on a business or multiple deals, all right? So that's what we're going to talk about here. And ultimately, Michelle and I now, we have over 100 rental properties that provide us the cash flow that provides the financial freedom to do things like this and to create businesses that go alongside of this. So now there was that link. All right, now it's time for class, all right? And I told my team over here, they said, Andrew, you have 10 points, and I don't want to be here till 9 o'clock tonight. So they set a timer for me. So I'm going to be done with the 10 points in 30 minutes, and then we'll have time for Q&A, or if you do have a question that pops up, you can ask it while I'm going through. But I'll try to move through these. So there's no way that I'm going to be able to dive into everything. So please bear with me on that. I'm trying to give you action steps so that you can get going on it. And then if there's questions, we can do that. All right. So first step is figuring out what is a deal. Okay. What is a deal? Now, who in here has heard of the 70% rule? Let me see your hands. Good. We got a handful of people that have seen that before. So there's some people that have not have heard of the 70% rule. So that's what this is, and I have my trusty whiteboard from my office right here so that we can do some math if we need to. So the 70% rule, and it goes with flip houses, okay? And the idea is that if you get a property and you can be all in for 70% of the value, then when you sell that and you start taking out the costs. So if you sell a house at $100,000, y'all do know that you don't get $100,000 when you sell it, right? Everybody on the page with that? If you're not, we will go back later. Talk to one of the agents. They'll tell you where it all goes. Agent commission is 6%. Bam, right off the top, right? So things like that keep coming out. You have closing costs. You have, let me put that on here, closing costs, and you're going to have taxes. What'd you say? I said we need those agents. Yes, we do. Oh, pay the agents, y'all. Pay them. Pay them all. 7%, right, Rochelle? That's right. They're always negotiable. Tax, insurance, power bill, all those things. That's going to come out of your sales price. So the idea when you're doing this 70% rule is that in our math, in our business, we usually say that if we sell it at 100, we're probably going to walk out of there after all those fees and things are done. We're going to probably walk out of there with about 90 grand. About 90%. That's the way we always do the math because it's easy to do. So we know if we're going to sell it at 100, we'll probably leave that closing table with 90 grand. Okay, does that make sense? Everybody follow? I promise I'm not going to do math this whole time, but I do kind of want to set the baseline. All right, so where's the 70% come in? Because 70% of 100,000 is 70,000. What's the difference here? What goes in this space? What? 20. Yes, 20 is the difference. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Did you use a calculator for that?
Power, water, and other holding costs.
That's going to be up here. The 70%. The 70% would be all of your costs. All of your costs is in this 70,000. So your all-in cost is 70. So this was your purchase price, your rehab, holding costs, interest to your lenders. Let's make sure we just go ahead and highlight that. Everyone knows you got to pay that money. So all in was 70.
Profit.
So between these is your profit. So that's what the 70% rule is for. That's the point of the 70% rule. So what this is just, it gives you an easy calculation to make judgments and decisions on whether or not that property is a deal. You can also just, whenever you see a house for sale on the MLS or someone sends you a property and says, I want to sell this for $200,000. Well, all you have to do is do your math using 70% rule and you can come up with your offer. So that's the math I have here, which is after repair value. So if we think it's worth, after it's renovated and ready to sell, it's worth 100. Take this times 0.7, which is 70%, equals 70,000. Then you take away whatever your rehab budget is, and this is your offer. Got it? Your max offer. And we will talk later in this about what to do with that number, because you don't ever give your max offer. Does everybody know that? Don't give that away. If you haven't heard that, you heard it here today. Don't throw that number out right away. All right? So that's the 70% rule. Are we cool there?
Yes.
Cool. And guys, we will have this recorded if you got to go through that again. Okay? The other flip kind of way to do this math is using your profit margin. So I was telling somebody about this today that 70% rule is really good because what you're doing is you're comparing what you could do with your money. The reason this turns out to be a $20,000 profit for this deal here, which equals about 20% profit, the reason that has become the number is because 20% is a really good investment return on your capital. So it's a good ROI. And it's only good when you compare it to other things, right? Nothing can be good unless it's compared to something. So you could take your money and put it in the stock market, maybe, and make 10%, right? Or you can invest it in other things and make 12% or something like that. You can buy a rental house and make 8%, 9%. So when you do a flip, you want to make 20%-ish because you are risking money. Right? You're putting that money at risk, and so it's a high risk activity. So when compared to lower risk activities like stock market or bonds or whatever, 20% sounds good. I know that was a lot. Just trust me on it, okay? 20% sounds good. Y'all good with that? 15 to 20% is fine. Well, so if you're going to do an ROI, you want to make 20% return on your money. Well, what happens if you have a really good lender and you only have to put 10% down of this $100,000 or the $70,000 all in? Sorry, we're still at $70K all in. Do you really need to make 20% of 70 to make this a good deal? Anybody? It's not your own capital, right? Your ROI is much higher if you only put 10% down. Say, with closing costs, you only put $10,000 down. Well, a 20% return is $2,000. That looks great on paper. But I can guarantee you, I'm not flipping no daggum house for $2,000. Nope, not on purpose. Not saying we hadn't done it, just saying not on purpose. So this ROI is different. It's a different calculation. So when we start talking about our flips, because we do usually use borrowed money. We'll use one of these great lenders here, as a matter of fact, and we will go borrow the money. So we want to just put a number on it. We put a profit margin on our flips. And through lots of going back and forth with Michelle and I and what's actually worth the hassle of a flip and the risk of a flip, we've come up with our simple, easy flips are basically $25,000 to $30,000 profit margin. All right, so if you look here on the screen, we'll take that after repair value, which is 90, it would be times 0.9. So we know we got 90,000 And then what's the other math? Minus the profit margin, minus the rehab budget. So we want to make, say we want to make 25 because this is a small house. That gives us the 65,000. And then this rehab is small, so it's only a $15,000 rehab. Let me just write it. This is rehab. This is profit. And then, so that's a $50,000. My handwriting is really good. I know you can see that. So that's a $50,000 offer. Does that make sense to everybody? This is finding a deal. All right, this is what is a deal. These are the idea, guys. Do this a lot. Find a lot of deals. Find a lot of properties. Look on the MLS. There's 1,800 properties on MLS right now. Go through them all and run this math so that you're good at it and you can do it in your head and you can do it fast. Because this is how you're going to find deals. All right, so this is a flip house. I'm spending a lot of time on this. Trust me, I'll catch up on my 30-minute window later. All right, rental house. This is a little bit easier. And I got the math here. Your rent rate times 100 is basic deal. If you could rent the house for $1,000 a month times 100, this is a 1% rule. That becomes to 100,000. That is an okay deal. City of Columbia, Richland County, Lexington County, you can pretty much find that all day long. It's kind of hard to believe, but there's places that the average is completely flip-flop. The average median house is $250 and the median rent's like $1,000. So way out of whack. I don't know how people are doing that. I just saw one. Anybody in here from OfferPad? Good. OfferPad just bought a property for like $180,000 and then listed it for $900 for rent. I'm like, you guys that's not a deal. That's a property. They own a piece of property. They have some sort of return matrix, but that's not a deal. So, so this is fine. This is good. This is fine. You can buy that all day long. We encourage people, if you want a deal, try harder, work harder, negotiate better, and you do the 2% rule, which is $1,000 in rent times 50 equals 50,000. If you can get a property in between these two, get the price in between those two for $1,000 in rent, you're doing good. Okay, closer to the $50,000 mark, the better the deal is. All right. And what you're going to do is you'll find that you'll have a lot more cash at the end of the month that you will be able to use for that property. Does that make sense? Way easier there, isn't it? And then the return on investment. If you buy with all cash, you do want to make sure you're getting a good return on your investment. Okay? So just real quick so you guys see the math. The rent rate, the net return. So if it rents for $1,000 a month, you're going to have things come out of that. You're going to have property management. You're going to have vacancies. You're going to have repairs. Just call it 25% that comes out of that. Okay, that's a good ballpark number. 25% comes out. So if it's $1,000 of rent, you might get $750, and this property has no mortgage at this point. That's where we're doing our return on investment. So you would multiply that by 12. Oh, calculator in the back. I didn't do this math. Tell me what it is. Equals
775.
Not
even close.
That's it? 9,000? Oh, that's easy. I guess I could have figured it. No. All right, we're divided by the cost, $100,000. All right, do that one. Is it 9.09, right? Should be 9%. This is a 9% return on investment. And you have a piece of property, so it's a pretty good deal. All right. Obviously, if you spent $50,000, this would, I'm guessing, this would be 18%. I think math works that way. So that's why the deal would get better. Okay. Much rather an 18% than 9%, but 9% is not bad. You have a question?
So the 9% would be your cap rate?
right? This return on investment, what's cap rate? I think that's the same because we didn't add anything else. Cap rate takes other stuff in. It would take out the mortgage, so there is no mortgage. So I think that's the same at this point.
So what's a good starting point for a cap rate? Obviously, the higher it goes for return on investment. Like
here,
I know it's state by state.
Yeah. So there's things selling right now at like 3-4% cap rate. I would not touch it. That's big money, big multifamily stuff.
What's the cap rate?
See, I knew you were going to ask me that. Like, I don't have the definition in my pocket.
Net operating income divided by current value.
There you go. So with this being, we're doing basic math here. That is net operating income. So here in Columbia, like 7, 8 is okay, but we push and try to get stuff at like 10. Cap rate is used, guys. Cap rate's usually used for like multifamily stuff. So when you've got 4 units or less, you can do the cap rate. You can run the cap rate numbers. But when you start getting to like 40 units, cap rate is what people buy on. That's what people make decisions on. Okay? You can do that here. It's the same kind of math. Does that make sense? So I would stay, if you can stay above 6 and 7 for sure, you're fine. Yeah! Get it, Rochelle. Rochelle's like, all right. Math is over. All right, right out of the math. All right, are we good? Okay, this is a deal. Do we have, I don't necessarily want to open it up for questions because I know there's a lot of questions on that. Write down your question and maybe I'll answer it later. And then if not, we'll come back to it at the end. Does that make sense? We good with that? Because I know there's going to be a lot there. All right, so I told you there's 10 steps. That's number 1. Figure out what in the world is a deal. What are you looking at? What are you looking for? Number 2, don't lose it. Don't lose your deal. Get started immediately with tracking and keeping up with your deals. All right, so this is a CRM. Who knows what CRM stands for? What is it?
Relationship management.
Customer relationship management. Here, client relationship, whatever. It's keeping up with your customers, your clients, the people that you're talking to. So, how do you do that? Y'all, you can do a yellow pad. I see a yellow pad right there. You can write down addresses and names in the yellow pad if you want to. I suggest not, but you can do whatever you want because you don't want to lose it. You don't want to lose that yellow pad. Go to Excel, go to Google Sheets, and just keep up with, I think I put in there, name, address, phone number, email, notes of this person that you've talked to, notes about the house, notes about the property, and then follow-up date. Follow up, follow up, follow up. Where is the money? In the follow-up. It's not, you're not going to get every deal the first time you talk to someone. Follow up, follow up, follow up. And when you're talking to them, confirm, hey, I'm going to follow up. Can I call you back in a month? Can I call you back in a week? Hey, when are you going to make this decision? Okay, I'll call you before then. Okay, so follow up. The only way you're going to be able to keep up with your follow-up is through a CRM. Okay? Can everybody get on board with that? Yes? Yes. All right. Less annoying CRM is a very super easy one. It's like $10 a month. It's like basic. And then you go to the Freedom Soft one that is, I don't know, $200-300 a month, and it has all the bells and whistles. Okay, you find your home. Okay, right now, go with the Google Sheets. If you haven't made any money yet, keep it free, keep it easy. Okay. All right, y'all. Who's heard of a script? All right. Who likes to read from a script? You do like to read from it?
Yeah, you don't have to think it right there in front of you.
Yeah, there you go. Who likes to listen to people on the phone that are reading from a script? There you go. That's the key. Don't read from a script, but you got to have a script. Okay? So like y'all are like, whoa, what do you mean? You got to know the script. You got to know what you're doing when you're talking to these people. You've got to have an end game. Where am I going? Why are we on the phone? Just like what we said earlier, what's your agenda? So I'm going to show you our script. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. If you want it, I think it's in the Facebook page. If not, email us. Put it on your little scan the little thing and say, send me the script. All right. But the idea is to be yourself, right? Get on the phone with people or in front of people and be yourself. Let the words come out the way you speak, because people like genuine people. People connect to people that are genuine. All right. The biggest thing is to build rapport on the phone or in front of people. Okay. That script is there, and it gets people focused on answering questions in the script and not getting to know the person and the situation and why are they even selling this house or this property or this land. Okay. So build rapport, get to know them, talk to them, understand the situation, because that is going to help you buy the deal. All right. You can buy houses, you can buy property all day long. We want to buy deals. And the only way you're going to buy deals is by going a few extra steps, which is building rapport with the people. All right, asking questions. Ask questions, okay? I love finding common ground. Michelle laughs at me all the time, but I'm from Columbia. I grew up close to Hopkins. It seems like every seller that's on the phone with me, we know somebody in common that went to Lower Richland High School. I don't know why. It's just how it works. They either went to school with my mom or they went to school with my brother. I don't know what it is. So find common ground with people, okay? And when you find the common ground, they will loosen up. They'll start to tell you what's going on, and you can start ascertaining if this is a deal for you, if there's something that you can do to help them, all right? And on the right side here, we have what I think a lot of people have heard as the 4 pillars. And wholesaling is trying to figure out the condition, the motivation, the price, and the timeline. Through the script, and the script on the next page, there's questions in there so that you can find the condition. You simply just ask, hey, can you tell me a little bit about the house? Can you tell me a little bit about the land? Okay? Let them start talking, and then they'll tell you about the condition. They'll tell you how it looks, how the roof is gone or how it's been updated to the T. So, and then as they're telling you a little bit about the property, then you just say, well, why are you selling it? Why is it for sale today? Or why did you call me back? Or, hey, would you consider selling it? Why? And then you'll get to know their motivation. You'll get to know where they are, what's going on in their life, or what's going on in that property. Okay? So find that motivation. And the price. For people to say, what do you want to sell it for? But if you've built rapport and you found some common ground with these people and they've opened up a little bit, it's really easy. It comes out. Just say it naturally, say it the way you would say it, and just say, well, what would you take for the property? If we could come up with a price today, what would it be? Just ask them, okay? And then the timeline. This is crucial. When you're trying to find a deal, if the person says, I don't know, I'll probably sell it 6-7 years from now. Is that a deal? Probably not. They don't really care. If they say, I got to sell it in 7 days, you think you got a deal in your hands? You got something you can work with, all right? So that's how we find a deal, using these 4 pillars, using these 4 goals through our script. This is what we want to find out while we're talking to them. And like I said, I don't care if you use a script, but you just want to find these things out, okay? There's a script. I know you can't see it. It's fine. I'll send it to you. If you need it, let me know. All right. So we know what a deal is. We talked about what a deal is. We talked about kind of how to talk to sellers and what we want to learn while we're talking to them. Well, the next thing is now we're actually going to go find, where are these deals? All right. Where can we find them? Where can we pick them out? All right. So what is your target? This is something that you want to find out. You want to figure this out before you go hunting for your deal, because if you're looking for a rental house, it's going to be a different mathematical equation than if you're looking for a flip house. If you're looking for 10 acres of land, it's going to be a different mathematical equation than a single family. If you want a tiny house, where do you go? Tiny house with a duplex, that's different, right? So you need to know what you're looking for. What's your target? If you know that you're going to buy it with all cash, that's different than if you want to go and do creative financing like sub 2, like we were talking about. So you've got to know your target so that you can know where to find your data. Okay? There's lots of different things in real estate. We talked about that earlier. There's so many different ways to profit in this business and to make a living or find financial freedom. that this is a personal decision. All right, this is your personal thing, but pick one and go with it. Pick one and learn about it and go with it. Okay, because that's how you'll find your deals. If it's shopping centers, I put one there. If you shopping centers, you need to know what all the shopping centers are selling for and what their cap rates are. Definitely cap rates in commercial. What the cap rates are, so that you know when a deal shows up. Okay? Obviously, we didn't do that math here. So pick it and learn it and go with it. PropStreamVIP.com, that's the one we use to find the data. So if we know we're looking for single family, I don't think I didn't put it in there. If we know we're looking for single family, you can go in there and click single family. If we know we want land, we can sort by land, okay? And I'll tell you some of the lists, I think that it's coming up. In PropStream, there's other data providers. That's just the one we use. Find your good data provider, and you can sort and find the people, all right? And I'll talk about marketing in just a second. So you want to find what you're looking for. You want to pinpoint it and get the data. Find out where they are. All right, here's our lists. Y'all can take a picture of this, and this is what we use. So this is, I went back and pulled our mailing. We do mostly postcards. So these are the lists that we mail to every single month. Yeah, all of them. So we send to all of those. We pull them from PropStream. And so when you get into PropStream, most of y'all can probably figure it out. If you can figure out, how to get on Facebook and stuff, it's pretty easy click and drop downs. But when you look for high equity, you're just looking for someone that has 60% equity. All right. And if you want to get even smaller lists, they have 70% of equity. If you want to get a bigger list, they only have 40% equity. All right. So you can tweak that and figure that out. Absentee owner, real simple. They don't live in it. Okay, not necessarily vacant, but they don't live in it. The owner doesn't live in it. There is vacant properties, which I don't think I put on here, but so there's vacant properties as well, which means that the post office has said nobody's living here, and the post office doesn't send mail. They won't take mail anymore. All right, foreclosures. Those are about to start rolling out, guys. They're coming. So foreclosures, you can pull that straight from the county here in South Carolina. There's also list providers. You can find somebody online that'll do that for you, and you can pay for it. Inheritance list, same thing. In South Carolina, you can pull the pre-probate, which is we don't do that. We wait until the property has actually changed hands and has been inherited by the next of kin or whoever that is. But you can do probate or pre-probate, which is really when someone passes away. You have to open up in a probate estate, and you can get that list. Okay, I don't think PropStream has that one actually. That's a separate provider. If you're interested, I could connect you. Evictions, same thing as the foreclosures. That's on the county website. You can pull that up. Anybody that went to magistrate court. Same with arrest records. Anybody heard of that list? So
Jail report. Jail report.
Yeah, you get a jail report. You get, what's that magazine, the Mug Shots? Have you ever seen that one? You go to the county. It's fun. Okay, whatever. Don't look at it. I don't want to see any of y'all's faces in Mug Shots. So the arrest record is if somebody was arrested at an address, then you can send mail or call that address. And the idea is that if they were a tenant, well, that landlord now has a property with no tenant in it because they're in jail. Whatever. But there could be other things going on, right? The idea is you're finding people or properties that have trouble, and this would be trouble. Same goes with code violations. If somebody's getting a violation from the city, high grass, gutters falling down, that's a property with a problem. Water shut off, same thing. Water shuts off probably means it's vacant, and if you do the water shut off list, you're probably ahead of the vacant list, because the post office probably doesn't know yet. So that's how you leapfrog that. That's a tougher list to get. And I'm telling y'all, if the list is hard to get it. The harder it is, the harder you should work to get it, because that means no one else has it. Does that make sense? You need a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request. Google it. the city, the county, whoever, they have to provide you with certain things. You just have to fill out the form. Most people don't do it because it's a form, it's government, blah, 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 and you got to pay a little bit for it. Just fill it out and do it. Get the water shut-off list. Demo list is very similar. Basically, the city or the county has said, hey, this house needs to go. We're going to tear it down. Believe it or not, there's a list. And they tear them down. But you can buy it before they tear it down and get a good deal there. We've got some great deals there. Empty nesters, that is, you're looking for people that have lived in the house. We set it at like 30 years because we kind of hope that they paid off the mortgage and didn't refi, which is very seldom. Most people refi. But they've lived in the house long enough to raise their kids. The kids are gone. The house is too big. And so what you can set those parameters. So you would say like a 2,000 square foot house and somebody's been in it for 30 years. Probably means that the kids are gone. Depending on where you're looking, 2,500 square foot house, you know, that sort of thing. And then driving for dollars. Who knows what driving for dollars is? Yeah, great. Awesome list, awesome list. You are the only one with that list. If you're driving around, we use Deal Machine, and you can do the coupon, which is dealmachinevip.com. I have it on my phone. I just put it on I have this little magnet thing, so it sticks to my air vent. And then as I'm driving around, if I see a vacant house, a beat up house, I just put it in there. They automatically get a postcard, and then we will call them later. So that is, you're the only one with that list. Make it. Make it, make it. You don't have to change anything about your life except for looking around while you're driving through neighborhoods. Change your route when you go to work. That's what I used to do when I was at the hotels. I would just go a different road, and then I would find houses. So driving for dollars, we got probably our best deal ever, which is currently 16 units. We have 12 more coming once this year. He wants to sell it in 2023. But 16 units, all owner financed, all zero down rental properties from driving for dollars. So do it.
What's the name of that app you use again? That
Dealmachinevip.com. Yeah. All right. So any questions on the lists? I'll tell you exactly here in a second how to market to it. All right. The next thing is to work your network. Y'all, I'm past my 30 minutes. Are y'all okay if I keep going? Yeah. Michelle's like, let's go. Come on. All right. So work your network. Guys, that's what we're here for. This network. Tell people what you're looking for. Tell people what you're looking for. I think I put it in here. Yes, tell every single realtor you've ever met, seen on TV, ran into in the grocery store. If they have that little name tag that says realtor on it, that means they want to talk to you. So tell them what you're looking for, okay? They want to hear from you because that's what realtors do, is they make money when you buy something. So they would love to help you find something. All right, so tell every realtor you know what you're looking for. And so here's the questions you want to answer. So what am I looking for? We went through that. And you want to tell your network. Tell people in your network. Start with your hot network, which is your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, your cousin, your neighbor, right? Hot network. These people will go to bat for you just because you're you. They don't have to believe in your dream. They might tell you to your face. They might just talk about you behind your back, but they'll still go to bat for you. If they know that you're looking for a rental house, they will at least have it in their mind. If they see something, they'll tell you. All right? So start with that hot network. And then go to your next network, which would be people you trust at work. People that maybe you see all the time at the ball field, like your kids' friends, parents, or whatever. People at church, people here, other realtors, anything in your work network that can be trusted with this stuff. Sometimes you don't want to bring this into work because people are like, "Why are you looking at real estate?" You know. So tell them what you're looking for. And then ask, who do you know that can help me find it? You want to ask them that question. It's not about them. I know, who do you know? Who have you heard that does this? That will extend you to a third layer of your network, which is a brand new network you didn't even know you had. Okay? It starts, what is that? 7 laws of Kevin Bacon? 7 degrees of separation. Thank you. 6 degrees? Yeah. Well, it's going to be 5 degrees of Kevin Bacon after y'all do this exercise, all right? So and then when you get to this third round, just say, who do you know that I should know? You just keep going, asking these questions to build and grow your network. And then you will find a few people that maybe in this room, maybe people that you look up to, maybe the person that got you interested in real estate, that you know they know some stuff. Ask them, what would you do if you were me? I wouldn't ask your mom if she's never done real estate deals, okay? I wouldn't ask your cousin if they've only worked, as Uber driver since 2018. Like, ask people that are in this business or in business. Like if they've run a business, they've started a business. Those are the folks you can go in and ask, what would you do? It's kind of, people like to talk about themselves, so that kind of question puts it on them. Say, what would you do if you were me? I love that question. All right, who wants to talk a little bit more numbers with marketing? Is that fun? Everybody's like, no, I don't want any more numbers. No more. Ed's in. Ed's in. Here we go. It's right here. So we send 2,500 a week, so about 10,000 direct mail pieces. Okay? Here are the numbers to get to your deal. All right? I told y'all we were going to give you how to get to your deal. This is it. If you have the capital, if you have the money, spend it to get a deal. Now, don't go crazy and blow everything you got. You should at least have some to buy the deal, or at least know how to buy the deal. But here's how the marketing works, all right? 2 leads to get to a live call. So if you get 200 leads, so people that called in or people that you reached out to, 2 of those are going to work to be a live call. If you call 200, 100 is going to work to be a live call. About a 50% ratio. Does that make sense? I think I wrote that in wrong, but whatever. You get it. Send out 200 so you can talk to 100. If you can talk to 100 people in a week, your live calls to appointments, you should be able to get to 10 to 20% appointments. Now, it's not always going to be sitting down in front of somebody. Appointment can be over the phone. Some people do this virtually. They never sit in front of somebody. We like to try to get in front of people because we think we have a better closing ratio. But 10 to 20% would be constructive phone calls that leads to as if it were an appointment. So you're either going on an appointment or you're having a long conversation, really diving deep with the person on the phone and getting to an offer, getting through all of their needs. Okay? So if you got 100 calls, 100 people that you've talked to, 10 to 20% are going to end up being appointments, and appointments to contracts, you get about 10 to 20% of those. So if you go on 10 appointments, you might have 1 to maybe 3 contracts that week. And then of those contracts, about 70% are going to close. So if you get 4 contracts, 3 of them are probably going to close. Does that make sense? So take a picture of this, digest it later. I know it's kind of like, what? I think if you look at it in a quiet space, it'll make sense, okay? So those are the numbers we work on. We try to get our acquisition team to be on 10 appointments every week, and we are shooting that those 10 appointments are going to equal 2 contracts a week, okay? That's the numbers that we work on. To do that, their goals are to talk to 120 people every week, okay?
As a blooming investor, someone starting out, what would be the number of, say, they were doing direct mail, what would be the number of mail pieces you think that they should send out per week to be able to get to the ratio?
Yeah, so the question is, how many direct mail pieces does a new investor or someone need to send out to get to a deal? And so that's down here below is what it will shake out to. So your postcards, your mail is going to get about a 1 to 2% response rate. Okay? So if we take that math back up, we should be getting a deal between 3,000 and 5,000 pieces of mail. Okay? Now, we'll keep going. I'll keep going down. So cold calling gets you a much higher response rate because you're literally on the phone and you're just calling them. You're interrupting their day and saying, hey, I want to talk. And so you talk to about 10% of the people. And so you're getting to people a little faster. It's a lot of work to do cold calling, let me tell you that. And so that breaks down to about 1,500 people that you talk to get to your deal. Okay? Remember, the 3,000 to 5,000 postcards, you don't actually talk to that many people. You're only talking to about 100. Okay? The driving for dollars, really high response rate. If you're getting to driving for dollars, if you're getting to properties that are abandoned, need rehab, that are physically in need of help, and you are sending those postcards and those postcards get to the right place, then you're going to get a really high response rate and the deals convert really high. Now, it takes a lot of work to get driving for dollars leads. It takes a lot of work to get the mail to those folks. But if you can get to 300, it's about 300 to 400 deals in Deal Machine. This stat came from Deal Machine. So if you get to 300 to 400 deals in your app, then it should lead to a deal. Okay, and that math works out for us as well. But obviously, we don't have a whole lot of data on that, so I went to Deal Machine to get that data, and that's what they say for the countrywide. Okay, so if you can drive around, now it's going to take you a while. It's going to take you a while to find 300 houses, but if you make this your process, it doesn't cost you much money. Now gas has gone back down. It doesn't cost you much to go around and drive. If this is what you're going to do, then do it. And you can get to 300 houses pretty quick, much quicker than you think, if you focus on that and make it your deal. All right? Texting, y'all have no idea. We used to know texting really, they really screwed it up after the last election, I think it was. A lot of issues with the providers we were using to send text messages, and literally we pretty much quit on it. I've tried it and dabbled it here and there, so I don't have any data on that. I didn't want to look it up because honestly, I don't know that anyone really has good data on texting at this moment. Yes, it works. It probably falls in there between mail and cold calling, if I had to guess. It probably takes more texts than calls, but less than mail, but I don't know. All right, so if that's something you're looking into, just you're gonna have to find someone else to teach you, because all of our providers, like, they just started sucking. The text messages weren't going through. So anyway, we quit doing that. All right, y'all feel good on that? Again, take the picture, look at this later. You'll make your decision on how you are going to market, how you're going to find your deals through that. All right, let me just show you real quick how to comp these properties so that you can get back to what is a deal using Zillow. Now, realtors are big help for this now. I don't know if y'all noticed, but if a property goes on the MLS, Zillow will have the listing and it'll have the pictures. But once that property leaves the MLS, Zillow loses access to it. So they lose the access to the pictures, they lose access to what was written in the MLS listing. So it's hard to see what the property shape was, what the condition was when it sold. So it's hard to make a good, fair comp based on your property condition on the solds on Zillow. So find a realtor, find someone that you trust or someone that has MLS access that you can shoot some addresses to. And really you just need to know, was this a rehab property that comped at this price per square foot, or was this a property that sold as is, needs work? If your realtor can just tell you those two things, like either or, then that's all you really need to come up with your comps, okay? You used to be able to do that on MLS just by looking at pictures, but that's gone. All right, so with Zillow, the Go Offer thing, if you scan that, I did a YouTube video like 2 years ago on how to use Go Offer. You can scan that and look at it later. But for Zillow, the property address, you put the property address in, you turn it to sold properties within 6 months. I'm going to go through this in a second. Same bedroom count, and then zoom out twice. All right, so go to, this is the property address. Right there, I don't have his thing, clicker, 2,000 square feet, and I think it says 4 bedrooms, 2 bath. In this neighborhood, I probably would just stick with 3 bedrooms. but it's 2,000 square feet, and I'm all the way zoomed in. I will change from for sale to sold. You guys tracking this? And then on the more tab up top, you click the more tab, you change the bedrooms to whatever you need, and then you do 6 months. This property had plenty of comps, so I'd leave it there. If there's not enough comps, go to 12 months. All right? And then, I'll let you snap that picture. And then you zoom out twice. So the little button in the bottom right, just click that twice to zoom out. And this is going to give you a really good view of that neighborhood. You don't want to cross any big yellow roads. That's 2-notch. Don't cross it. Try not to cross the fatter white roads. Okay? Stay in your neighborhood. You want to stay within that little bunch. And you guys see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yellow. So those are sold comps in this neighborhood. So you're going to just look at those, take the square footage, and find out what the price per square foot on each one of those. That's how you comp that property. That's how you would find the value of the property. Does that make sense? We need that. You need that before you make your offer. All right, so there's a lot of ways to make offers. I just wanted to make sure I left y'all with a huge big nugget here at the end. And so if you want to use a realtor, an agent to make offers, go for it, because all they do all day long is talk numbers and price, and they're not bashful about lowballing. So get an agent. I know the Lucas Group is used to it, right? It's like, yeah, I do it all day long. I'm sick of it. But Ed's good at it, right? The agents are separated, so it's not emotional for them. So you can use them to do that. But if you're fine with it, make your offers. This here is just a couple of steps that we really like to make a good offer. So I want to leave this with y'all. So set your target price, your goal. We figured that out earlier. We found the value here, and then we figured the 70% rule, all right? That's your target. Your first offer is going to be 65% of that. Now, let me just preface this. You don't have to say, your house is worth $100,000. And I need to buy it at 70 because of my 70% rule. I'm going to offer you $40,000. You don't have to just say $40,000. Why not?
They might take a little.
They might, but they also might hang up on your face, right? So we like to go in soft with the range, and we say, hey, you know what? Prices, houses in your neighborhood in this condition, we're buying them between $40,000 and $50,000. Does that sound about right? Or are we in your ballpark? If they say yes, great, let's start working. If they say no, then you ask, well, what would be your ballpark? All right, and you start going down that road and start working with that negotiation. If they say maybe, you can go up, you can go down, or you can stay the same. But this is your negotiation strategy. If you've got somebody that's really hardballing you and they're just numbers, giving you, I need this, I need this, I need this. Guys, it takes 7 times, I think, is the average to close a deal. You have to ask for the sale 7 times. So this is how you do that. You say that 65% target, and guys, write this down when you're talking to people, especially in the beginning. All right, and they say no. All right, well, you know, I think maybe I could come up just a little bit if you'll throw in the refrigerator and the stove. Would you do that for us? Great. Okay, well, then we'll come up a little bit. You know what? I think if you're really able to sell this month, I really need to get a deal in this month. I got to get a closing this month. Can we do that? If they commit to that, you're getting them to commit to something. They're coming down the road with you, then you give them a price increase. Don't increase the price until you have something from them. Never give more until you've got something. All right? I should have put that in there. Even if it's like, hey, will you make sure that you leave that grill in the back? I know it's rusty, but it's a vintage. I really want it. Like, whatever it is, you got to get them to commit to you on something before you make any price increase. And then you go to the 85, 95. And then finally, if you have to get to the 100%, make sure that you do the precise number. And Rochelle knows I used to do this all the time. If they are just like, no, 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 and my top dollar is 40 grand, I'm like, listen, okay, this is all I got. I'm using my Excel spreadsheet. I'm crunching the numbers. I have pencil paper everywhere, whiteout everywhere. It's $39,683.42. But listen, I'm going to give you that. So it's $85. All right? I'm just going to round up on the pennies. Okay? Just like, I'm giving you the pennies. Can we do it? Right? When you get to that point, if that seller has come with you that far, they've committed to leave the grill, they're going to sell it this month, they'll even throw in a free grass cutting before it closes, they are going to sell it when they know that they've ringed you for everything you got. And that's how you want them to feel. Like, you got everything out of me, this is all I got. Okay? So that is just a tip. You won't use this every time, guys, but I wanted to make sure I left y'all with something that we've never shared here before, or anywhere actually. So the last thing, the last piece is you got a deal. Get it on paper. Please. It's not a deal until it's on contract paper. If you got to get in your car and drive across town at 5 o'clock, go do it. Get it on paper, get it on paper, get it on paper. And then we will help you figure out what to do with that. There might be somebody at your table that can help you figure out what to do with that deal at that point. All right? Your job is to be a deal finder, not a deal maker. Go out there, find the deals, get them on paper. If you need a contract, let us know.